Hello, everybody. Hope you're well. We're going to give it just a second. Hope you guys are doing well on this beautiful Monday afternoon. We're going to give a 2-minute warning. We had a late start. Sorry about that. 2-minute warning. Matt, what is the weather in Indianapolis today?
Man, it was 35 degrees this morning, and I just got back from the post-lunch digestion walk, the 15-minute stroll, and it is up to a sunny and breezy 60 degrees. So it was pretty nice.
Not bad. Rusty, how
Not
is it
bad at
over there
all.
in Knoxville, Tennessee?
Same as you, bud. You're like 10 minutes from me. It's pretty dang nice. The sun's out. Sun's out, guns out. I can tell for you. Look at that. Look at that gun show.
Look at
Uh,
that. We need a warning label on this.
Yeah, this one's not for kids. All right. 15-second warning, then the weather talk will dissipate.
I mean, I should be out on the deck like you are. I don't know why I'm in the house.
It's nice outside. Got a solo stove, as I told the boys earlier today, and internet can't reach it, so I'm just watching the solo stove do its thing far away. And just enjoying, just living our lives. So I hope you guys are doing well as also. And I see someone saying Calgary is 11 degrees Celsius and sunny. Can someone?
I'll put that in freedom units for
9/5 plus 32. Yeah.
It's 52 degrees. 52
nice.
degrees in freedom units.
Nice. Chicago's the same. Frost on the windshield. Sun's out. Guns out. 60 degrees.
There's always guns out in Chicago. Hello.
Oh boy. There's a comedian.
Matt,
there's a comedian I like. My wife and I like, Nate Bargatze, and he hosted SNL a couple weeks ago, and it was a great skit about units of measure in America. It's George Washington talking about we're gonna have two separate units to measure the temperature. One will be universally accepted throughout the world, and one will be super random. Our great nation will use the random one.
That's very
and okay. I like that. So anyway, special day here in Option Omega Land. We have our newest release ever. For those of you who saw our Discord, we just put it out a couple minutes ago. Just pushed it to the servers, and you can now exit your tests based on Delta. So, with that, options in poor comedy, Robro. Thank you. But don't put it. Yeah, that's right. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to the maestro himself, the master of disaster, the king of Sting, all the other Apollo Creed names in Rocky, Mr. Rusty Mormon. Rusty, how the heck are you?
Good. Although we should have a cigar lounge at some point about the best Rocky. I think, is it Rocky 4 that's the best with Dolph Lundgren?
I'm glad you brought this up. I will give this very quickly, and we can do this very quickly because it's very straightforward. Rocky 1 is one of the greatest dramas of all time. It actually won, I believe, the Oscar for that year. Like it's our Academy Award. It's a great drama, one of the best of all time. Rocky 2 continues in that drama. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. The love story exists. Rocky 3 he defeats both Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. So you tell me if that's a good movie. Seems like pretty good to me. Rocky 4 is when Rocky defeats communism.
Communism, yeah.
That's right. And
The
Rocky
best
5
one.
sucks. Rocky 5 sucks. Rocky Balboa returned to drama. Loved it. Creed movies. I'm only here for Rocky. I do not care about anything else. Therefore, Creed
There
is
you
not
go.
important to me. So, thank you, Rusty. Back to you. And
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Kid, now.
Oh,
Tell
there
us
we go.
about this feature.
Hey, before we quick
oh.
disclaimer before we do this feature, options involve risk. They are not suitable for all investors. Thank you for watching this stream. It is for entertainment purposes only. It is not financial advice. Backtesting is backwards looking and not forwards looking. And hopefully you're entertained by this disclaimer, which is done with none of the pizzazz that Troy does it. On to the show.
There you go.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. So delta exits, right? We have a bunch of different kind of exits now in the system. TA, obviously profit, profit target, stop loss. When the underlying hits a certain condition, like either it moves a certain way or it tests one of your shorts, things like that. But there have been people asking for deltas, and some people say that maybe the hardest way to trade. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I know there's some really smart people who say that. So without further ado, we decided to add it, right? Because you can certainly enter by delta, why not exit? So here's an example of a simple condor. I think I actually used the default values and just made it 0 DTE for laziness. And just last 30 days, right? This is not even a trade I trade at all or take, but just DT condor, you're exiting when you're tested.
Rusty, I think your microphone is just straight up murdering everybody.
Is it really?
Yeah, can you guys hear the static? Dude, this app hates
you. It's just my freaking AirPods. Gosh. What do you mean static?
It's like the worst static you've ever heard. This.
All right, hold on. Let me just switch. Okay, let me kill the AirPods and just do it with MacBook speakers. Let's see if it's okay.
All right, we're gonna start a new course on Option Omega Academy, and its sole purpose is going to be to get Rusty some different headphones. So it's going to be called "Get Rusty New Headphones" class.
You can contribute.
Some people have called it lightning strikes. Some people said static. He's sawing metal pipe.
I'm on the lab mic now, but it's still.
That's still not. This is a different kind of torture. It's still not working.
Wonderful. Now, hold on. Let me try something.
Troy, you might have to take this one. We're glad this is entertaining for you guys.
No. Hey guys, hold on. We're gonna do this audio input. All right, can you hear me
This
now?
is probably the. It's temporarily good, but we're all gonna go back and listen to the.
No,
YouTube
listen. Is it better now? Is the reverb gone?
We might. It's good. You're
Wonderful.
perfect now.
Wonderful.
All right, I'm using the AirPod speakers and the MacBook mic. We'll see if that's the combination. Good golly. I don't know. I hate this software. Stupid Restream. If you're on here, Restream, whoever developed it, I want to find you and punch you. Anyway, okay, so we have a condor. Don't pay attention to the specifics of the condor. It's just a condor with an exit when tested, right? I got your fees, slippage, 3 days a week. I just wanted to pick something that was slightly greener for the last 90 days. You made $1,000. Probably not worth your effort. But the point is, maybe instead of saying I want to exit when the sides get tested, maybe you want to use deltas, right? Maybe you want to say, let's exit when either my overall position delta for the entire condor is either I'm short 45 delta or long 45 delta, right? And look at that. Quite a bit better MAR, better return. So, and I mean, thinking about it, right? So what that should do is probably exit, depending on the side, right before you get in the money on your shorts, potentially, depending on time of day and other things. So sure enough, see, we have this reason for close now, right? So you look here, it exited 43.94. So 43.95 was your short call. And so it exited 1 point before going into the money. So, I mean, potentially this could help with gamma risk, with other things like that if you use this kind of exit. Any questions on, I see people in the stream. So this would be using positional delta overall in the trade. So things like condors, double calendars, I mean, even two-legged trades, you could definitely use this for, butterflies, etc. Any questions on this so far? I think it's pretty straightforward. Notice that, again, here's something important, right? So we all know this, but math can be tricky sometimes. -50 is below -45, right, on a number scale. So, and mathematically. And so if you're in a position and you want to say, I want to get out when I'm short, say 50, 60, 70 delta, then you need to put into this condition here that you are below -45. Okay. And the same thing, if you want to exit when you're long 50, 60, 70 delta, etc., you want to get out when you're above 45 delta. So I think that's pretty, straightforward. Is anyone else hearing this? Troy, am I good?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay, good.
You're good.
I was like, no one's typing anything, so I'm kind of like, man,
We're stunned. We're stunned by the.
What if I'm just frozen and talking like an idiot into nothing after all the other mic problems? I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case. So that's that feature, and you'll see here above and below deltas in your log. So the other option that we added, the other toggle or whatever the other parameter is that. So this is a butterfly. We'll use this example. So a butterfly, let's say you're doing 3 days a week, you're doing an upside fly, a 10 delta, centered at 10 delta, 25 wide, okay? Call fly. It's done exceedingly well the last 30 days, apparently. So instead of exiting right now, when price action hits that 10 delta and getting out right at that moment, you could potentially use deltas. And I don't know if I can even improve this very much. So with a fly, you're going to be, I wanted to show the leg delta. So instead of saying when that short call gets hit, let me toggle that off. Instead, you could say, let me exit when that short call is, let's say, slightly in the money, right? So you start off with that call being short 10 deltas. Short 50 delta would be right at the money. So let's try like 55 delta. If you get short 55 delta or more on that, that actually did a little bit worse than the last test. But the whole point is, to show you have options like that. So if you see 43.95, you're getting out when it's slightly in the money, which is exactly what you expect with 55 delta. Now, I don't know if 50 would be better. Let's try 50. Hey, look, that actually mirrors the original test, which is exactly what you'd expect. So that one's not super useful, but perhaps you could use a positional delta. Again, I'm not a wizard on exit deltas in terms of crafting back tests and getting to work, but those are your two options. You can either exit the entire trade based on the positional delta or on an individual leg. I mean, you could even choose one of the long legs and say, right, you could say when this further out of the money, this protective call on the other side, when that one hits 50 delta, right, or 60 or something, then exit the whole trade. So no, Stephen, we don't have the ability to do piecemeal adjustments. I'm not sure what you're asking, Felipe. for the stop. There's no stop, right? You're just exiting. It's simply an exit condition. So, but you see that those are the two different things we've allowed with deltas. Just another tool. If you could probably combine this with CSV backtesting and portfolio to create maybe some delta hedging, some delta adjustments, things like that. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got, Troy.
Sweet. So stay on your screen for a second. One of the
Yeah.
things that's interesting. First off, when you guys are trading, everybody listening, you can put it in the chat room or whatever. When you're trading, do you ever consider deltas in your exit? Is this something that you actually do in real life? Or are you coming from the world of options where you use more or less stops on the credit received or debit paid or whatever? Only on entry. Yeah. And that's normal. That's considered the default, right? And that's why we have deltas for testing on the open. When you're looking at deltas, one of the things that I want to encourage you guys in is this is a pretty big boy and big girl way to trade and to exit. And we think that this is actually one of the more educational parts of the tool that's going to be put in, because deltas are dynamic, right? And why are they dynamic? What's the other Greek that's affecting delta mostly? A little trivia for y'all that you guys all know for sure. Gamma. Thank you, RSD. So gamma, right, is affecting the rate of change for the deltas. And on an exit, I know a lot of people that came from market making, the old school guys. This is how they're adjusting their trade in real time. They're not using a perceived stop or anything like that. They're adjusting it based on the delta change and other things as well, but delta being one of the main ones, especially for like spreads and stuff. And so one of the things that I think is going to be really useful for this is that, say you have a condor like Rusty showed you, and you're used to taking it out on stops. Well, now what you can actually do is model out, and I would encourage you to use like another tool like Option Strat or your local broker if they have good graphs. Because what you're going to notice it opens up a different world of testing where suddenly the deltas, because they're dynamic, exiting on a delta will change the complete trajectory of that trade quite often rather than a stop. And why is that? Well, because say for instance, you're selling a put spread and it does nothing. Let's assume there's no movement in the underlying. Well, the delta, because it's dynamic and because it's being affected by the theta decay, your delta is going to go down based on theta. It's going to go down or up based on gamma. And so there's a lot more at play in it. And it actually gives you a lot more ability to fine tune a strategy and to automate. And we're pretty pumped about this because we don't think this has been available to retail traders. This definitely has been available to institutional level traders for a long time. So this really gives you the opportunity to look at strategies, redo strategies that you found useful, but also come up with a lot of new strategies. And I'm not going to graph it out because it's super complicated, but one of the things I wanted you can start getting a sense of like how this is working in real time with options is like, if you graph out a ratio spread, like a 2x1 or 1x2, you're buying a put and selling two puts. Let's say it's naked, and let's say it's safe, and so you're doing a long broken wing butterfly, where that last long is like a 1 delta or 5 cent, a 5 cent put or whatever, something to just lower your margin requirement. Well, what's actually going to happen if you look at that trade, if you open it up for a credit, is over time at the beginning of that trade, you are actually long deltas. Why are you long deltas on a trade like that? Well, because you collected the credit and directionally, you are long at the beginning of the setup, right? Now that curve decays over time as it goes up throughout the day, the underlying, but you are long. Now, what's interesting about that type of trade is because gamma flips because of the decay and theta and things like that throughout the day. It's actually a trade where you go from long deltas to short deltas with no movement through time, right? So this opens up some really interesting possibilities. For instance, you have trades where the put spread, you're always going to be long delta on that put spread. The delta is going to change, right? It might decay, but theoretically, you're never going to flip. The gamma doesn't flip, therefore the delta doesn't flip. But now you're going to be able to test trades in a more complex way where gamma does flip, where the deltas are changing through time, not just changing and decaying in the same direction, but actually flipping and then flipping back again if it goes too far. And so we think it's an important part of this process of like making this a feature-rich app. This is a pretty complex thing. This is what we went back and forth to try to put this under the advanced, but we think it should be there from the beginning, not hidden under the advanced section, because we think if you're trading options, you really do need to know the Greeks, and this is a really good way to do that. Does that make sense for everybody? Any questions or thoughts about that? Cool beans. Well, as always, if you're in our Discord, you can go in our Discord, start playing around with it. I know there will be people that straight away start posting stuff. Test Strats is a great channel to where you can see some of this play out. And if you're new to options, don't feel ashamed if you're like, well, I don't know the Greeks, so I'm an idiot. No, Greeks are hard. Options are complex instruments. We think this is a great way to learn it, is to look at automated trades through time and to try to really dig into to say, why did this trade, why did exit below a position delta of like -30 change through time? And how is that processing that and be able to go deep into Greeks and that. So we're excited for y'all. We're excited for us. Something we've wanted for a long time, and we've done it now, and we are pumped about it. So, with that being said, if there are no other questions, we don't want to hold you guys forever. As always, we really appreciate you. If you have any questions or anything, reach out to us. Also, if you are interested in the Greeks and you want to learn more about the Greeks, the guy that wrote arguably the best book on the Greeks for retail traders, Dan Passarelli, is going to be in the Cigar Lounge tomorrow, this time, 1 p.m. And he's a master. I mean, he was a market maker, wrote a book on Greeks that's super accessible. I highly recommend you check that out. But we'll have him on tomorrow. So it's perfect timing, coming out with Delta exits and then having the Greek master on tomorrow. So appreciate y'all. Matt, Rusty, thank you for always being for me. And
thanks, Troy.
With me, I guess, for support. So anyway, guys, you're awesome. Have a good day, and we will see you at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow in the Cigar Lounge with no pipes clanging, no lightning strikes, Lord willing, no
reverb,
no reverb, no drunk Darth Vader. Great descriptions for what just happened today, all of y'all. High praise. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good